Over the past few years, I've learned to read. Writing is much more difficult, but I've never been daunted by obstacles. I do have pencils and paper, although I may not have much time. As I am writing these words, my tale is over. I have fulfilled the final task I set myself. It has only taken me about a month, which has perhaps been the happiest month of my life. As far back as I can recall, I have been in the bunker. Is that what they mean by memories? See, on the few occasions when the women were willing to share their stories, they would talk of events, comings, goings, men. My memory begins with anger. Jeremy Sutton, PhD at PositivePsychology.org, describes the resilience of the human person after a significant life event. He provides that having a renewed purpose can often strengthen the resolve of those already resilient. Author Jacqueline Harpman knows a thing or two about resilience, with her family fleeing Belgium in the midst of the Nazi invasion. And this unknown, dystopian realm, filled with women who have lost all ambition of escape, the main protagonist personifies the idea that although hope may seem to be lost, there is always a way of perseverance. I Who Have Never Known Men, by Jacqueline Harpman. I was the youngest when we were locked up. The women always believed that among the chaos, I'd been sent to the wrong side and no one had noticed. I was surly all the time, but unaware of it because I didn't yet understand the words for describing mood. The women would bustle about busying themselves with their few day-to-day activities, but never inviting me to join them. In their more enthusiastic moments, they would talk of love and men, laughing and taunting me when I asked them what was so funny. Perhaps they pretended to know more than me because they knew nothing of the essential. I was sad. I had always hated my cellmates because of their sheer indifference towards me, and I never spared a thought to them. On our way over here, they were so overcome by their fear and despair, and I remained isolated, a terrified little girl surrounded by weeping women, and by dying to be abandoning me once more. Anger welled inside of me. I thought this was unfair and realized then that alone and terrified anger was the only weapon against the horrors. One of the women did teach me that the heart beats at the same rate, between 70 and 74 times a minute. I learned how to count, and gradually I learned how to count automatically, whether eating and soon enough in my sleep. We had established we were living according to an artificial clock. We needed to understand why. That is what rekindled the spark of rebellion in their dulled minds. We had our own time, which couldn't be shared with that of those who had locked us up. We were no longer in league with the guards. We had re-understood what it meant to be a human being. I had created the only new thing possible in our static lives, and I'd no longer seen these women as my enemies. I'd given them what I could, and I'd earned my place among them. But this didn't last very long, because suddenly, there was a major event. Now, I must describe this event in precise detail, which I find incredibly difficult because of the sheer shock and amazement. It happened just as one of the guards was opening the hatch to give us our food. One of them put the key into the small lock of the little hatch, and at that precise moment, there was this terrifyingly loud noise. The guard dropped the keys, not realizing what he'd done, before he turned to face the others, and they'd done something they'd never done before. It ran out. They ran out, and for the first time since we women had been imprisoned, we were alone in the bunker. I quickly snapped out of it, grabbed the keys, thrust my arm between the bars before I finished turning them and grabbing them together with the whole bunch. I gave the door a push, and it opened. I took a step back, clutching my hands, for I was holding the most precious thing in the world. I got a grip on myself and exited the doorway. The other women seemed as if they couldn't comprehend what the hell was going on. "Come on," I shouted. "Come on out!" We barreled out the door. Daylight? The sky was gray, but not the lifeless gray of the bunker walls, no. A strange emotion choked me, more precise and exquisite. When the other women joined me, we silently basked in our freedom. The fact was, we never did find any towns. The women believed that we would find these towns, civilization. And I never expected to encounter anything less than those bunkers similar to ours, with those who were not as lucky as we were. And I think the others sensed that. From that time on, I was fully aware that one day I would be the last. I was the sole witness to a world in which all I could do was continue my journey. So I continued on from bunker to bunker until I made another new discovery. And this new luxurious bunker I found, the most precious thing in there is paper. Reams of it, and a box of pencils. That is how I was at last able to finish learning how to write. The books helped me, and I was able to finally map my excursions. It was clear to me that the purpose of our deportation and exportation would never be revealed to me through these abandoned objects. But even in the guards' quarters, I don't think I formulated that so clearly. But what if they were as much in the dark as we were? I was electrified by that theory. I felt myself laugh and my feet begin to dance. Okay, I was fully aware that I'd only added another question to all the others. But in this absurd, strange world in which I lived and still do, I mean, it was happiness. Perhaps somewhere humanity is flourishing, unaware that a daughter of its blood is ending her days in silence. Perhaps I have tried to create time through writing these pages. I'm writing to some unknown reader who will probably never come. But if that person does come, I will have a time in their mind. As long as these sheets of paper covered in my handwriting lie on this table, I will never be truly dead.